Testing, 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 testing. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Start. Hello and welcome back to more Pokémon Insurgence. Hopefully, if you're listening to this, it means I actually recorded the audio correctly this time. Looking down, nothing's muted, so we should be good for today. Anyway, if you're excited for this episode, for a actual live recorded episode, live commentary this time, go ahead and show a like down below, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so before we get started, in the last episode we of course got ourselves it was Delta Poniard at the time. I leveled her up to Delta Bisharp. I had her named like Sarada or something before because I already had a Sakura and I wanted to name her Sakura, but as I mentioned in the post-recording, the post-audio for the last episode, I just decided, you know, the heck with it. I'm gonna name her Sakura, because I don't know if we're gonna put Bulbasaur on my team, but I know I'm gonna put this thing on my team. So, alright, I believe here in Nazca Town, we're pretty much done. Oh, there's berries. Let me pick some berries. And a Dusk Ball. Yes, please. Alright, so I believe we are, we're basically done in this area. I mean, the only other thing would be... can we not pick these? I suppose not. That makes sense. We haven't been able to up to this point, but we did get a Dusk Ball, so there's that. Unless we want to do the Safari Zone a bunch more times, just for the sake of trying to get ourselves a Flygon so we can try out that armor, which, I don't know, I think I'll save that for another time off camera, just so I don't waste your guys' time. We're gonna continue on out of here. I believe this is the way out. We kinda we kind of scoped it out earlier. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can surf over there. I did not check that out before. But yeah, we got Sakura level 59. I forget what level. I don't know. I was doing the Audino training, and I'm trying to think. I guess I got her to level 59. Like, you know, when you're fighting the Audino, you're getting all that experience. So I don't remember what level it actually evolved at. She actually evolves at, like, what, level 55? I don't know. Anyway. I got her, I think it's the same, whatever episode that, whatever episode, I can't speak today, whatever level that, Poniard evolves normally, normal Poniard. Well, anyway, you guys can look that up if and tell me if I'm wrong. Alright, we're here in Merc Forest, and, okay, so she just heals us, we don't have to fight her first. Like, in, 5th gen, you have to fight the nurses before they'll heal you. Maybe in... I can't remember if it's 6th gen also. It's an evening recording. I got my hot cocoa. Also, it has been a bad hair day in a way. So, got my Bulbasaur hat on. But hey, always a good excuse to show this awesome Bulbasaur hat. Alright, we're gonna go for a power-up punch. See how much it does. Break sturdy. Will a high jump kick KO from here? We are +1. I feel like it will. Especially double edge, he's gonna get some recoil damage. He's gonna get a lot of recoil damage. It's a crit. Okay, that explains him. I don't... Oh, did he not get recoil? I didn't see the recoil message. We should be able to take it out from here. Yeah, at +1. It was a little bit risky. But I mean, he probably wouldn't have gotten a crit twice in a row. It has happened before. I can't say he definitely wouldn't have. That was a little weird. I thought I accidentally clicked out of the game or something because it just kind of paused for a moment. But I guess it was just a little. Oh wait. We don't have to use an item. We have a nurse to heal us. I guess it was just the audio hiccuped or something. Took a little too long to change. All right, let's check out over here. I see a hyper potion down there. Launch crush. Yeah, I think Sakura should be fast enough and high-leveled enough to flee from things. So we can kind of check out what's around here. Ooh, Beedrill. Can we run from level 56 Beedrill? We can't. Fortunately, I believe we quad-resist Fell Stinger. That's one of those that I get confused. I know there's a resistance between bug and fighting. I think they both resist each other, but I could be remembering that incorrectly. And only one resisted the other. I believe they both resist each other. That's another one. Check me on that. Definitely check me on that, just in case. Alright. Are we trapped here? Okay, no. Alright, what else do we have in here? Yeah, I guess we don't need to go ahead and use the nurse to heal. Let's check out what's over here. We always know, check out some different branching pathways because we could find ourselves another secret, hidden Delta Pokemon. In fact, just to make sure, nothing in here. Nothing in here. Alright. Alright, all these little trees. That looks like an exit down there that brings us back to the start. Ooh, wild Vileplume. Lots of fully evolved wild Pokemon in here, actually. It's been a Vileplume, Honchkrow, and Beedrill. My girlfriend broke up with me and my feet really hurt. I'm having a really bad day. I'm sorry. That's kind of sad. It's weird that your feet hurting are on the same level as your girlfriend breaking up with you. But I mean, who am I to judge? We all grieve in our own way. Oh, nasty plot, Lucario. That could be scary depending on what moveset this thing has, but watch it be physical. If it's physical, I think we're okay. That was one power... I was gonna say... Well, actually, I don't know what my base speed is. I mean, like, I don't know if the Delta Pokemon even have the same base stats as their regular counterparts, or if they have different base stats. So I don't know what my base speed is. Come to think of it, can Lucario... Maybe Lucario can't even get Nasty Plot. I didn't think twice about it, though, because I know that Lucario does... Ooh, Punishment. That was actually pretty smart, except that I resisted it. And Power Punch Super Effect, that was a good fake out there for me. I was trying to say, I guess Lucario maybe doesn't get Nasty Plot, but I know Lucario basically has the stats to be a mixed attacker, the stats and the movesets. So, but I should have, I was a little suspicious. Like I said, I don't know what my speed set is. I was a little suspicious that the Lucario supposedly outsped. And he went for Quick Guard, so I guess we won't know for sure now. Because I will just Power Punch. And it will die because I was already +2. Now I'm +3, even though there's nobody left. We're just gonna raise Sakura forever. Sakura's gonna be the highest level of all my Pokemon. I'm sorry to ruin your day even more. Why on earth would you battle me, jerk? Well, I mean, I just talked to you. You started the battle, if we want to be perfectly honest. I found TM15 Hyper Beam. Well, that was the best Gen 1 move, arguably. As long as you KO'd something when you used it. Alright, there's a thing over there. So it looks like, yeah, we can circle back around. I'm gonna go back there in a moment. That looks like the Mossy Rock. Probably if we had an Eevee, we could evolve it into Leafeon. Wait, what? She just quoted, like, a Bible verse by Mew. And I didn't read what it was. I haven't been paying attention to most of this dialogue. I mean, I paid attention to the last guy. But generally, I don't read that, so all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I know, the legendaries and mythicals are kind of like deities. I mean, they are anyway, even in the Pokemon universe, but in this game, they make it more explicit, you know, with the cults and everything. But still, I want to know what the actual quote was, and I missed it. Oh well. Oh well, you guys will have to play it back in slow motion or go frame by frame. I can't remember what Infiltrator does. It's like I go through, is it that I go through light screen or something? Oh, Sucker Punch! I think my one saving grace was that was a physical attack. And I believe Meowstick's more suited for special attacks. I mean, most of the good moves it gets that I know of are special. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, because we've seen Pokemon like Flareon that until more recently horribly allocated moveset for their stats. I mean, in Gen 1 through 3, it made sense to some extent, because moves being physical or special are based on type. And they're, you know, so Fire type was a special type, and so Flareon really couldn't get any stab that took advantage of its attack stat. But then they did the physical special split in Gen 4, and Flareon couldn't get Flare Blitz, I think you get maybe Flame Charge. I can't remember. That might have been the best physical move you could get. Fire Fang, I guess. And so that led to the meme Flareon has no moves. And I believe it was in Gen 6 when they finally decided, hey, let's give Flareon Flare Blitz. You know, the Eeveelutions, I mean, they're cool, and some of them, you know, do have a certain amount of competitive viability, but in our Discord server a while back, the topic came up about Jolteon with Frenzy, and you know, I've generally considered Jolteon, I mean, as competitive Pokemon go, it's generally Jolteon and Sylveon, and then to a lesser extent, Umbreon and Espeon, as far as the, I don't know what you'd call, like, the more usable, the more competitively viable Pokemon, or Eeveelutions, I should say. But he was saying how, Frenzy was saying how, you know, Jolteon, there's a lot of Pokemon that do its job better, yada yada yada. And, I mean, that's a fair point, and the Eeveelutions, to me, are mostly limited by their move pool. You get Pokemon like Sylveon, the Pixelate, although Pixelate was kind of nerfed. But you get maybe Sylveon with a more decent moveset, and probably Espeon might have the broadest offensive moveset, being a Psychic type. But even then, there's a lot of limitations. I mean, there's a couple nice things, like it's nice that they can all get Shadow Ball. Synchro Noise actually works pretty well. It's useless on Umbreon, unless there's, it's useless on Umbreon unless, there's like, what's the word? Miracle Eye in effect. But it's actually pretty good for, like, Jolteon versus other electric types. Like, it has a use, at least. But yeah, anyway, the Eeveelutions are kind of hurt. They have, and some of them have decent stat distribution. Like, they somewhat excel in 1.5 stats, kind of. Like, they all have, if I remember this correctly, they all have, like, one stat that's base 130. Oh, this is so beautiful. They have one stat that's base 130, and then they have another stat that's, like, base 110, and then everything else is kind of average to subpar. I think it's, every other stat might be 60. So every other stat is kind of subpar. But, like, on certain Pokemon, like with Jolteon, or with Espeon, also, I guess, with Sylveon. With those three in particular, and I guess with Umbreon in terms of defenses, like, it's distributed in such a way that it kind of makes sense, it's kind of usable. Again, not perfect, and there's, you know, we were talking about limited move pool and things that can do the job better, whatever. But, like, those are the ones you see in competitive because their stat distributions and the moves that they learn kind of complement them well enough that you can make use of them even if they're not the best at their job. And then you get Pokemon, like, I want to say it's, Leafeon is kind of cool in that it has a pretty good attack stat. I think it's too slow to really make use of it, and doesn't learn enough moves. I mean, you could abuse, what's the combination? It's like something in Last Resort. Like, you could abuse, like, Trump Card in Last Resort? Is that what it is? I can't remember for sure. Anyway. But then you get, like, I believe it's, which one is it? Glaceon? That has a, that has kind of a defensive stat distribution, but it's an Ice type, which is not good for defensive, like, a defensive set. I don't know. I mean, it would be cool to make the Eeveelutions better. I would say, I mean, you don't want to make them too super strong, I guess. But I think the problem is they have so many subpar stats. If you take, like, okay, is it Flareon, I think, has base 130 attack, or Jolteon has base 130 speed, Espeon has base 130 special attack. Like, that's all, like, in a vacuum. Like, that stat alone is pretty darn good. Like, not a lot of Pokemon have, other than once you get to, like, pseudo-legendaries to some extent, and then you have, like, Ultra Beasts, Megas, and Legendaries. Like, that's where you start to get into the stats above 130 for the most part. So one stat above 130, I mean, the stat itself is pretty good, but the stat distribution as a whole, you have a lot of 60s in there. And moving them up to, like, 80, bringing one more stat to 100 would be maybe useful. Alright, I think I'm gonna have to start putting a repel I think we've seen everybody. We saw Joltik. Only non-evolved Pokemon we've seen so far. But you know, just boost, I would boost like all the 60s to 80s. And give them like one more thing that's 100. So that they have a, would that make them too strong? I don't know, maybe. Even just bumping the 60s up to 80s. I have to do, cause obviously you can't make them pseudo-legendaries. But even, I wanna compare their base stat total, cause Eevee's kind of considered an honorary starter. I mean, I guess Pikachu is too, and I'm not sure what Raichu's stat distribution is, but, or base stat total is. But it would at least make sense to make them on par with the typical starter base stat total. And I don't even know if the starters all have the same base stat total. I kind of doubt that they do. Although in more recent generations, Pokemon has kind of standardized it like that. Standardized base stats among Pokemon that are supposed to, like, have a shared, whatever, a shared theme or be part of a set, as it were. Oh, there's a hidden grotto right there. But I don't know. I mean, actually, I should do that calculation. Another item, Carbos. I should do that. I should look that up. Anyway, in the meantime, let's continue making our way through Murk Forest. The whole conversation started because there's a mossy rock over there. There's a thing over there that I don't know what that is. The Rangers are a pretty cool group. Sure. Okay, so I believe all the Eeveelutions have the same base stat total. So I'm just gonna look up... Jolteon. Just for an example of base stats. Alright, I'm gonna try and do like a power-up punch into a blaze kick. See what that does. Another crit double edge. Against Sakura. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, 99.9% sure bug resists fighting. I think fighting resists bug also. Alright, so I am holding the lucky egg, so acrobatics not gonna do that much. I'm gonna try, see how much Blaze Kick does. Okay, did not get 2 crits in a row. Alright, oh, it's 65, 65, 60. 110, 95, 130. Okay, so a little bit better than I thought, but still, the 65, 65, and 60 are pretty hard, like, are pretty low. Like, Smogon kind of rates how high their stat is and color codes them. Like, green is better, and it gets lighter to yellow, and then, like, if it's red, it's kind of bad. Like, subpar or bad. And, yeah, HP, attack, and defense are all, like, a smidge orange, but mostly red. So yeah, okay, we got Scrafty. Sure. It doesn't have the total on here, so I'm gonna type that in right in a minute. 65, 65, 60, plus 110, plus 95, plus 130. 525, so honestly not that low of a base stat total when you compare, I mean, 600 or more is a pseudo-legendary, and I guess, because what do how many? So yeah, like the pixies, if you want to call them that, the mythicals such as Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Manaphy, etc. All the ones that have the base 100 across the board. So their base stat total is exactly 600 because there's 6 stats at base 100. So I think if you could just find a way, even to just make the total 550, like with Jolteon, I mean, maybe keep the subpar HP, give it some defense, give it 25 more in defense, give it 85 defense, or give it 90 HP. Then you'd find it more usable. Then it's just really, like, it doesn't need attack, because it's going to be special attacking anyway, so you could keep that low. And then give it one other stat that's low, like defense, and then it would be better. I mean, you still have to fix its moveset, I guess, or expand its moveset. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, just an idea. So, well, that whole talk about, we have our whole discussion about Eeveelutions. Of course, there's another mossy rock, so maybe this isn't where you can evolve Eevee. Maybe it's just a coincidence. I can't remember. I think we've fought Eevee, right? And yeah, I'm not gonna walk all the way back to the nurse now, so I am gonna use a super potion or 2, or maybe 3, as the case may be. Yep, 3. So yeah, I don't know. I suppose let's pose a question if you guys want to answer it. What stats? Pick your favorite Eeveelution. What stats? What would you change about its stats to make it better? I mean, like, try to be reasonable. I would say don't keep the base stat total below 600, just to be more realistic. But, what would you change about its stats? And let's say one move. Let's say what's one move that you would give it that would help it out? So, like, if I said, like, oh, Jolteon, I would increase its HP stat by, like I said, let's just say by 25. Give it a base stat total of 550. And then, what would I give it? I don't know, I need to think about that. I'd give it, I don't know, Nasty Plot. I don't know, just off the top of my head. I don't know. Again, not putting a ton of thought into it, but yeah, that just as an example, off the top of my head, I'd say that. Is Jolteon my favorite Eeveelution? It's certainly one that I've probably used the most in Let's Plays. Actually, I've used Umbreon a lot. Umbreon used to be my favorite. It is one of my favorites in design. Unfortunately, it has its uses in competitive, because it's pretty good cleric, and a good annoying stall Pokemon. But, in just a regular play through the game, it's pretty bad, because it doesn't do much offensively. But anyway, I'd say probably Jolteon. If I had to pick one, Jolteon. If I'm going on just, if I just go on, what's with these recoil moves? If I'm just going on design, I actually like most of them almost equally. Like, it's really hard to pick. Probably Jolteon, Umbreon, and I actually kind of like Glaceon, but let's just say Jolteon and Umbreon on design. I forgot about Vaporeon. Vaporeon, design-wise, probably not my favorite, but Vaporeon is... I barely used Flareon. I always used Vaporeon or Jolteon in my Let's Plays. Part of the reason I used Vaporeon in, like, Gen 1 was because if I didn't start with Squirtle, I didn't often fish. Once I got the fishing rod, I didn't often use that to add Pokemon to my team because grinding was not fun. I was not interested in grinding, particularly back then. And then I didn't get Surf. You got access to Eevee and therefore Vaporeon before you got access to Surf, so it was always just kind of the first water type I had easy access to, and so I used it. So yeah, I mean, and Vaporeon has its usefulness too. But yeah, I guess usefulness, like my favorite to use, probably still Jolteon and Vaporeon. So yeah, it's hard to say. Like, I would love to have a farm with all the Eeveelutions. They're really good. Another double-edged... Has every, I'll say, trainer-owned Pokemon in this forest used either double-edge or takedown? It certainly is starting to seem like it. Both this person's Pokemon, Cherim and Go-Goat, takedown and double-edge. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. I mean, I suppose in their case, their stab would not be very effective against me. But the fact that they have it, that both of them have it, I don't know. It's funny to me. Alright, Super Potion up. Sakura doing pretty good, though. Leading the pack. I should probably get my non-level 60s to level 60, honestly, but I just healed Sakura, so... You know what? This will be the Sakura episode. I don't know what I'm actually gonna name this, but... Just consider this the Sakura episode. She's gonna be front and center for most of this. But, after that, I will try and give some needed attention to the others. So wait, did I heal you for no reason. I may have healed for no reason. Well, let's see what's on the other side of this forest. Oh, there's more grass. There's a rock. TM109, echoed voice. It's a big stone. Well, thanks. Did I reach a dead end? Is there somewhere else that I need to go that I didn't catch? Wait, let me just be sure. Are there any dive spots I missed? This doesn't look like an area that has dive spots. Alright, I'm not gonna use repel right this second. Well, let me see what's in here for a second. Let's see. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, Bisharp. I was just remembering because we were talking about Bisharp's base speed. Bisharp's base speed is like 60. It's fairly slow. I don't know if, like I said, I don't remember if Delta Pokemon have a separate stat distribution. It would make sense because Bisharp as a flying, fighting ninja type thing should be faster than regular Bisharp that's heavy and covered in armor. But I don't actually know. What I do know is Pumpkin, my kitten, is like clawing or banging at the door, making some kind of noise. Pumpkin would make a great serial killer because he just tries to get in the door. Alright, so let's see what I'm missing. There's no— oh, here's another exit. Hecate Town. Hecate Town? Hecate— ooh, that's cool. Alright. What time is it? It's been almost 30 minutes. You know what? I do think I'll call it here. I may do a little bit of grinding, I may not before the next episode. But we'll call it here. I will swap someone else to be up front though. But I hope you've enjoyed this Sakura episode. Just got to show her off. She's pretty cool. I guess I won't put an item on her. Well, no. I don't want to. I don't want to. Okay. But yeah, I think I'll keep no item on her for now, just so she can make use of acrobatics once in a while. Anyway, once again, guys, if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. This is an even-numbered episode, so this is coming up on a Friday, so next episode is Monday. And, yeah, we're chugging along. This is, what, episode 34? I don't know how much longer it's gonna be. We have— is there a gym in this town? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in the next episode. With that being said, I'm gonna get out of here, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for more Pokemon Insurgence.